Welcome to St. George's Day. In the countryside, this is a holy, peaceful celebration. But here in the capital, it is basically a war zone. The ground shakes, the noise is deafening, and people are swarming like bees. Bianca looks around in sheer terror, genuinely asking Ricardo if a war has broken out. Ricardo, calm as ever, explains it is just a festival. Bianca is hyperventilating. She expected music and elegance, not a mosh pit. She screams internally that no one warned her it would be this chaotic. But before she can escape, the little tyrant Lala shouts, "What are you waiting for?" Lala grabs Ricardo's hand and drags him into the fray. Bianca tries to protest, yelling that she is not ready, but resistance is futile. The tiny force of nature has decided they are going, and Bianca is pulled into the stampede against her will. As she stumbles along, holding Ricardo's hand, Bianca realizes something. Despite the noise and the crowd, people are actually happy. The screaming is just merchants selling candy, and the crying children stop the moment they get a lollipop. It is not a riot, it is just aggressive joy. Lala spots a doll prize at a game stall. Bianca, trying to be the generous rich lady, offers to buy it. But this is a festival. You do not buy prizes, you win them. The merchant says they have to knock down targets to win. Ricardo steps up. Bang, bang, bang. He hits every target effortlessly. The crowd cheers, Lala gets her doll, and Bianca is left staring. She realizes she is actually having fun. For a brief moment, this feels like a real family outing. Ricardo looks at her and admits he was worried she wouldn't fit in at a commoner market. But seeing her enjoying herself, he smiles and says he made the right decision to bring her. It is a rare, sweet moment that lowers Bianca's guard completely. But then, Bianca makes the classic horror movie mistake. She splits the party. She tells Ricardo she is thirsty. He offers to go buy her some juice. As he walks away to get 2 flavors, Bianca stands alone, thinking she has successfully blocked the romance route. Suddenly, chaos erupts. Someone screams thief. A man rushes past, knocking people over. Ricardo, being the dutiful knight, immediately gives chase. He yells at Bianca to look after the children and sprints into the crowd. Bianca is left stunned. But as she watches him run, she hears a voice. A girl is shouting at the thief. Bianca freezes. She recognizes that voice. She recognizes the scenario. It is the heroine. Panic explodes in her chest. She screams Ricardo's name, trying to stop him. She knows she cannot let them meet. She tries to run after him, but the crowd is too thick. She gets shoved and blocked. The universe is physically stopping her from interfering. Ricardo catches the thief easily. A girl with red hair stomps up, furious. She screams at the thief, asking if he knows what that money was for. Then she drops the tragic backstory line, "It was for my mother's hospital expenses." The situation resolves. Ricardo returns the money pouch. The girl wipes her sweat, looks up with big, grateful eyes, and thanks him profusely. It is the classic damsel meets hero moment. Bianca watches from a distance, helpless. But here is where it gets interesting. Ricardo doesn't fall in love instantly. He asks, "Do you have evidence that this is really yours?" He is being logical. The girl gets offended. She shouts, "What? Are you accusing me of lying?" Bianca hears this dialogue and her blood runs cold. She realizes she has memorized these exact lines. They are speaking word for word from the novel. The script is active, and nothing Bianca did changed a single thing. The girl points to the embroidery on the pouch. "My name should be embroidered on it. My mom embroidered it." Ricardo checks the pouch. He asks for her name. Bianca prays for a miracle, but destiny is cruel. The girl looks him in the eyes and says, "My name is Maria." Boom. The introduction is complete. Ricardo repeats her name. The connection is made. Bianca watches them. In her mind's eye, she sees the future. They will fall madly in love. And because of that love, Ricardo will end up driving a knife into her throat. The image of her death flashes vividly before her eyes. She stands there, paralyzed by the realization. The plot is an unstoppable force. She tried to block it, she tried to be present, she tried to distract him. But in the end, what is meant to happen, will happen. The episode ends with Bianca staring at the new couple, realizing her doom has officially begun. The scene opens with a haunting realization. Bianca watches the fated couple, and the narration delivers the crushing blow: what is meant to happen, will happen. The weight of the original novel presses down on her chest. She realizes that no matter how hard she struggles or how much she prepares, the story is forcing its way to the tragic ending. The festival lights blur as panic sets in, making it impossible for her to breathe. The suffocating feeling turns into a fight-or-flight response. She thinks, I cannot stay here. I have to get out. The vision of her death feels too real, too close. Without a word to Ricardo or anyone else, she turns and bolts. She lifts her heavy dress and runs away from the happy crowd, desperate to escape the script that wants her dead. Ricardo realizes she has vanished. He looks around, his expression shifting from confusion to alarm. He calls out, Bianca. Bianca. He pushes through the crowd, searching frantically until he finds her in a secluded spot. But he stops short. The proud, composed Bianca is trembling. She is crying. The sight is so shocking that he freezes, unable to comprehend what could have broken her so suddenly. Ricardo stares at her, his mind racing. He realizes that today, Bianca has shown him so many sides he never knew existed. Her confusion at the commoner market, her genuine joy at the game, and her delight when Lala received the doll. It was all unfamiliar territory, yet he admits to himself that he did not dislike seeing it. But seeing her tears now evokes a strange, painful feeling in his chest. Suddenly, the heavy atmosphere is interrupted. Panting and out of breath, Maria runs up to them. She chased them down just to say thank you. She insists on repaying them for retrieving her precious money pouch, acting exactly like the righteous heroine she is supposed to be. Bianca, wiping her tears and regaining her composure, rejects the reward. She tells the girl that repayment is not necessary. Instead, she instructs Maria to simply pay it forward and help someone else in need when she gets the chance. It is a noble response, but deep down, Bianca just wants to end this interaction as quickly as possible. We cut to the carriage ride home. Bianca looks pale, exhausted, and dizzy. Her maid, worried about her health, suggests canceling the schedule for the next day. But Bianca asks what is on the agenda. The maid reminds her that the daughter of Marquis Wensbury is coming to visit. Bianca realizes fate is cruel, she has to face the heroine again tomorrow. She refuses to cancel, steeling herself for the encounter. The dreaded day arrives. Maria sits across from Bianca at the tea table. She nervously introduces herself, correcting her name from Maria Vallona to Maria Wensbury. The transition is official. The illegitimate child has been accepted, and the plot is moving forward at full speed. Bianca analyzes her opponent with a critical eye. She notes that Maria has dressed up but still looks a bit tacky and disheveled compared to high society standards. However, she also notices what Maria possesses that she does not, eyes sparkling with life and a smile full of genuine innocence. It is a brightness that Bianca feels she has lost. Maria then innocently drops a bombshell. She tells Bianca that Lord Reinhard and Sir Wensbury talk about her constantly. She confesses that she views Bianca as the perfect lady, a role model she strives to emulate. She effectively puts Bianca on a pedestal, completely unaware that she is destined to knock her off it. Bianca listens, feeling a bitter irony. Her entire life's goal, her sole driving force, was to become the perfect lady and the elegant duchess. And now, this girl who appeared out of nowhere threatens to take that future away simply by existing. The thought that a mere girl could ruin her decades of effort is unbearable. Dark thoughts consume Bianca. She asks herself what she did to deserve this fate. Why must she die just because the story says so? The overwhelming sense of injustice makes her physically ill. She starts coughing violently, choking on her tea as her composure finally cracks. The cup rattles against the saucer as Bianca loses her balance. Maria panics, jumping up and calling out "My lady," asking if she is all right. Bianca stares at her. The girl who is supposed to be her enemy is looking at her with pure, unadulterated concern. It is confusing, frustrating, and heartbreaking all at once. Once the coughing fit subsides, Maria opens up about her situation. She explains she moved to the capital for her sick mother. She admits she could not cure her mother in the countryside, so she swallowed her pride to join the Wensbury family. It is a tragic, noble backstory that makes it impossible for Bianca to hate her. Maria expresses her deep gratitude. She thanks Bianca for offering to mentor her, saying she wishes to become someone who can help others just like Bianca one day. Bianca feels like a fraud. She screams internally that she is not helping out of goodwill, but only because she wanted to maintain her image as a good person. But then, she remembers something Ricardo said to her. He told her that it is harder to be kind than cruel. He said that going out of her way to do good deeds, even if the motive is not pure, still makes her a good person. His words echo in her mind, validating her actions even when she doubts herself. Even if everyone else doubts you, you should not doubt yourself. That memory gives her strength. She looks at Mariah's bright spirit and realizes the truth. She cannot kill this girl. How could she ever harm someone so sweet? The murderous intent vanishes, leaving only a heavy sense of resignation. A wave of exhaustion washes over Bianca. She realizes she has never lived a life defined by herself. She studied, worked hard, and tried to be perfect, all for a future that was never guaranteed. She feels trapped in a script she did not write, playing a role she no longer wants if the price is her life. She comes to a radical decision. If she cannot stop the plot from happening, she will remove herself from the equation entirely. We cut to a scene with Ricardo. The atmosphere is heavy and serious. Bianca looks him dead in the eye and asks if he hears her clearly. She takes a deep breath and drops the nuclear bomb. I want to break off our engagement. Ricardo freezes, his face a mask of shock. Bianca has decided that if being his fiancé leads to death, then she will simply quit the role. It is the ultimate act of defiance against the story. The story opens with a tense flashback to Bianca's childhood. A young, bratty crown prince Assel is screaming at her in the palace garden. He points furiously to a stain on his clothes and accuses her of dirtying them. With a haughty attitude, he demands an immediate apology. However, young Bianca stands her ground. She looks him dead in the eye and calmly states that it was not her fault, refusing to be bullied. Assel gets furious at her defiance. He sarcastically asks if the juice spilled itself. Bianca maintains her poker face and insists it was an honest mistake. Just then, the queen steps in to mediate. She tells Assel that he is giving Bianca a hard time and offers to lend him clothes. She tries to defuse the situation, but the spoiled prince is more interested in winning the argument than fixing his shirt. Assel screams that the problem isn't the clothes, but Bianca's attitude. Realizing he won't get the apology he wants from the stubborn girl, he throws a tantrum. He storms off to get changed, shouting, "Forget it. I am leaving," and warns her that he won't let her off easy next time. Bianca stands there, watching him leave, completely unfazed by the royal outburst. As the prince leaves, young Ricardo approaches Bianca. He stares at her and then unexpectedly apologizes. He says, "Sorry. The chair was too low for you, wasn't it? I didn't realize." Bianca is confused. In her world, apologies are for the weak, yet this boy is apologizing for something he didn't even do, just because he felt he should have been more attentive to her comfort. Bianca tries to push him away with her harsh philosophy. She tells him her mother said apologizing is for losers and that proper ladies don't create situations where they need to apologize. She expects him to mock her. Instead, Ricardo smiles brightly and tells her she is already learning so much and will surely become a fine lady. Bianca blushes deeply. It is the first time she felt validated and cared for. Back in the present, Bianca reflects on that memory. That smile was the trap. That was the moment she fell for him and decided she had to be his duchess. But she shakes her head, snapping back to reality. Her priority now isn't love or status, it is survival. She steels herself, knowing she has to destroy that dream to save her life. The scene shifts to the library. Bianca sits across from adult Ricardo. She formally introduces herself, setting a serious tone. Then, she drops the bomb, "I want to break off our engagement." Ricardo looks completely stunned. He repeats the words slowly, as if he cannot comprehend them. Ricardo's expression hardens. He reminds her, "Weren't you the one who wanted this?" He knows how desperately she chased him in the past. Bianca admits she was young and hasty back then and wants to correct her mistake. Ricardo stares at her intensely and says, "I could only see what was in front of me," implying he has been watching her this whole time, not ignoring her. He questions her sincerity. Bianca laughs nervously and tries to play the villain. She says she only wanted the title of Duchess because it seemed appealing, but now she has realized there are more precious things. She is trying to make herself look shallow so he will agree to let her go. Ricardo is not convinced. He asks, "Why must we break off our engagement?" Then his voice drops, and he asks the dangerous question, "Is there another man? Are you doubting my loyalty?" His jealousy flares up instantly, shattering her hope for a peaceful separation. Bianca panics. She tries to argue that if he fell in love with another woman, her request would be justified. She is desperately trying to push him toward the plot of the novel where he loves the heroine. She is basically screaming, "Please go fall in love with someone else." But Ricardo cuts her off. He declares firmly, "That will never happen. Because I am deeply interested in you." He flatly refuses to break off the engagement. Bianca's world crumbles. The man who was supposed to kill her just confessed he is interested in her. The escape route is blocked. Bianca leaves the room in a daze. She wonders if the story has changed. Does this mean she and Ricardo will end up together? She rushes to her bookshelf to check the prophecy book. She needs to know if the ending has shifted or if this is just a cruel twist. She reads the book. It still describes the scene where Maria meets Ricardo. In the book, Maria asks for his name to repay him, and Ricardo answers. But in reality, as we saw earlier, Ricardo rejected Maria's offer cold. The events in the book and reality are diverging. The book says Maria falls deeply in love with him. But Bianca realizes something critical. The book never explicitly said Ricardo loved Maria back. It just said Maria loved him. Bianca connects the dots, then I, who was once the villainess, turn out to be Ricardo's first love. The realization hits her like a physical blow. She is not the obstacle to the romance, she is the romance. The tragic ending wasn't about him hating her, it might have been about a love gone wrong. Thud. Bianca collapses in shock, dropping a cup. Her maid rushes to her side. Overwhelmed, Bianca asks Maria if she thinks this situation will change Ricardo's heart. Maria says no, inadvertently confirming Bianca's worst fear, his feelings are fixed. Bianca screams internally. For the love of God. Why do I always end up dying? She realizes that whether he hates her or loves her, the death flags are still waving. She is trapped in a tragic fate no matter what role she plays, and now she is the main character of a tragedy. The scene opens with Bianca's internal monologue. She wonders if her situation is a curse or God's will. She feels like the world will not rest until she is killed. However, she refuses to let it get her down. She arrives at the Wensbury estate, determined to take control of her fate. Maria welcomes her warmly, saying she has been waiting for her. Bianca greets Maria politely. She asks if her visit is too sudden. Maria denies it instantly, looking delighted. She says she has been meaning to invite Bianca over for tea since their last meeting. She leads Bianca to the garden where refreshments are prepared. Bianca gets straight to the point. She admits she was hesitant to interfere, but after hearing about Maria's mother the other day, she could not just sit back and do nothing. She reveals the true purpose of her visit. She came to give Maria something important. Bianca hands Maria a letter. Maria looks surprised and asks what it is. Bianca tells her to take a look and hopes she can accept the gift without feeling burdened. She explains that it is a recommendation letter for Maria's mother's hospitalization. Maria reads the letter and gasps. It is for St. Lemenica Hospital. Bianca explains that this hospital is affiliated with the monastery sponsored by House Crawford. She notes that while House Wensbury surely looked into good hospitals, Dr. Kenwell at St. Lumenica is the absolute best when it comes to treating tuberculosis. Bianca adds that the doctor wasn't accepting new patients, which is why the recommendation letter is necessary. Maria is overcome with emotion. Tears fill her big green eyes. She thanks Bianca profusely, calling her not just a helper, but her savior. As Maria cries tears of gratitude, Bianca has a pragmatic internal thought. She thinks this alleviates some of her worries. She reasons that unless Maria is an animal, she doubts the girl would try to kill the person who saved her mother, even if she is blinded by love later on. It is a calculated move for survival. Suddenly, a new challenger approaches. It is Marchioness Wensbury, Maria's stepmother. She walks in with a fake smile, exclaiming, "Look who it is. Long time no see." She feigns ignorance, claiming she wasn't told Bianca would be visiting today. Bianca apologizes for the sudden visit. The Marchioness waves it off, saying she is happy to see her. She asks about Bianca's parents, then drops a heavy shade. She looks at Bianca and says, "Whenever I see a sweet girl like you, I can't help but regret that I only have one son." Bianca catches the drift immediately. The Marchioness is implying that Maria, her stepdaughter sitting right there, does not count as a sweet girl worth having. Bianca realizes the Marchioness sees Maria only as an illegitimate stain on the family honor, despite the adoption papers. The Marchioness grabs Bianca's hands warmly, completely ignoring Maria. She mentions that her son, Reinhard, will be home soon. She suggests that since Bianca came all this way, she should go see him before leaving. She is trying to set up a date and push Maria out of the picture. Bianca plays dumb. She asks, "Pardon? What for?" The Marchioness tries again, suggesting they go inside for tea because the garden is hot. She asks rudely, "What are you doing in the garden?" implying Maria's choice of venue is poor. Bianca stands her ground. She looks at Maria, who looks dejected, and tells the Marchioness she appreciates the offer but she was in the middle of tea with Lady Maria. She politely but firmly refuses to leave Maria alone. The Marchioness realizes she has lost this round. Her smile twitches. She says it is a shame and agrees to let them be. But before she leaves, she throws one last passive-aggressive dart. She tells Bianca, "I hope you have a nice chat with your beloved daughter," mocking the relationship before storming off. Maria looks devastated. Bianca realizes the situation is worse than she expected. If the stepmother is this bold in front of a guest, imagine how bad it gets when they are alone. Bianca feels a pang of sympathy. She realizes she has one less thing to worry about regarding Maria's character, but a new problem has emerged. Bianca reflects on the Marquis. He is a man unfamiliar with the intricacies of high society and the women's social circles. He thinks hiring a tutor is enough, but he is completely blind to the emotional abuse happening under his roof. The scene shifts to the core issue. The Marquis had told Maria it is almost time for her debutante ball and she must prepare. Maria, who was a commoner until recently, expressed fear that it was too soon. Instead of comforting her, her father scolded her for her negativity. Bianca realizes that without a mother's help, Maria cannot prepare for such a major event. The debutante ball is where noble ladies are introduced to fine spouses. Usually, mothers assist, but Marchioness Wensbury would undoubtedly sabotage Maria to make her look like a fool and a wreck. Bianca sees an opportunity. She asks Maria, "Did you say the debutante ball?" Her eyes light up with a plan. She leans in and offers, "Perhaps I could offer you some help." Bianca decides that if she wants to ensure the plot goes smoothly, and save herself, she needs to be the one to make Maria the perfect heroine.
The scene opens with a knock on the door. It is Marchioness Wensbury again. She bursts into Maria's room, asking if she is ready. Maria is rushing to get dressed, clearly stressed. The Marchioness drops a heavy reminder, "Father is concerned about your partner for the debutante ball." The pressure is on. The Marchioness asks if Maria has anyone in mind. Maria hesitates. The stepmother then launches a masterclass in gaslighting. She says, "If you can't find one, I'll take care of it." She then brutally adds, "You probably don't know any men anyway." She implies that even if Maria knew someone, they would be low-status commoners from the countryside, unworthy of the Wensbury name. She continues to twist the knife. She tells Maria that having a lover back home is unfortunate because high society marriages are about status, not love. She cruelly brings up Maria's parents as a cautionary tale, just look what happened to father and your mother, implying their love led to ruin. Then, she dangles a carrot. She tells Maria not to be disheartened because the Wensbury name still carries weight. She hints at a specific potential partner, someone I like. Maria immediately thinks of the one person she met in the capital who was kind to her, the son of a duke, Ricardo. She gets her hopes up, thinking maybe, just maybe, she has a chance. Maria starts daydreaming. She imagines dancing with him at the ball. She wonders, how nice would it be to win over his heart? She questions if it is wrong to have a little hope, just like her mother did. It is a tragic moment because we know Ricardo is already taken by Bianca, but Maria is clinging to this innocent fantasy. The scene shifts to the dress fitting. Bianca is there, helping Maria prepare. Bianca looks at the dress the Marchioness picked out and is horrified. It is a fashion disaster, a giant ribbon monstrosity that looks like it belongs in her grandmother's era. Bianca asks, "Are you serious? I can't believe a dress like that still exists." Maria timidly asks if they can just use that dress, afraid to rock the boat. Bianca refuses instantly, "As long as you're under my guidance, that will never happen." She commands Maria to change into the dress she picked out. Bianca is taking full control of the heroine's makeover to ensure she outshines everyone. Swoosh. The curtain opens. Maria steps out in the new dress. It is stunning. Simple, elegant, perfect. Even Reinhard, Maria's half-brother, is speechless. Bianca asks for his opinion. Reinhard stammers, "No, it is perfect." Bianca smirks, knowing she has one. She declares Maria will be the most perfect debutante. But Bianca has a bigger problem. The partner. She thinks, if I want to live, I have to bring the two of them together. She decides she must set Maria up with Ricardo. It is the only way to satisfy the plot and save her own neck. But every time she thinks about it, she feels a painful clench in her chest. She is heartbroken but determined. Suddenly, the door opens. Click. A man walks in. It is Crown Prince Assel. Bianca is shocked. "What brings the esteemed lady of House Crawford here?" he asks with a smirk. He wasn't expecting to see her. Bianca tries to play it cool, but Assel cuts to the chase. He teases her about seeking forged documents. Bianca plays dumb, but he reveals he knows about her request to speed up the orphanage relocation paperwork. He sighs, "There you go, exploiting the Crown Prince again." He is onto her schemes, but he doesn't seem angry, he seems amused. Assel observes her closely. He comments on the rumors that Bianca has gone mad but then says, "You're not the same Bianca I used to know." He remembers the spoiled girl who demanded cake if there was no bread. Now, she is doing selfless charity work. He is intrigued by this character development. Assel asks, "What is your image of me in your mind?" Bianca admits she doesn't know, but says she likes it either way. They share a moment of banter. Then Assel gets serious. He agrees to help with the paperwork, but under one condition. He steps closer, invading her personal space. He looks into her eyes and says, "I want you to look at me the way you look at Ricardo." Boom! The second male lead has entered the chat and he is not playing games. He wants her attention, her affection. He knows she loves Ricardo, and he is jealous. Bianca tries to flatter him, saying an accomplished man like him could have anyone. But Assel counters, "But you picked Ricardo." He admits he is being petty. He is holding a grudge that she chose the Duke over him. Finally, he drops his demand, "Call me Assel." He wants to drop the honorifics and be close to her. Assel takes her hand. "I'll do anything you ask. The name I granted you is like a magic spell." He is laying it on thick. Bianca is flustered. She asks, "I beg your pardon?" Trying to process this sudden romantic attack from the Crown Prince. Bianca stares at her hand where he touched her. She realizes something profound. Life is a matter of choices. She thinks about her destiny. Rather than merely changing my behavior. What if I choose an entirely different path? She looks at a ring box or a symbol of engagement. She wonders, what happens then? The scene opens with Maria in a state of utter disbelief. She sits in the carriage, trembling slightly. She asks her maid if her escort is really who she thinks he is. The maid confirms it. Yes, the partner for the illegitimate daughter of House Wensbury is none other than Lord Winchester, the Duke himself. Maria panics. She is so nervous she doesn't know what to do. She cannot believe Lord Winchester agreed to be her escort for her very first debutante ball. It feels too good to be true. She pinches herself, asking if this is a dream, but the cold reality of his status makes her realize this is real life. It is revealed how this miracle happened. Bianca explains that she knows Lord Winchester personally and put in a good word for Maria. Bianca thought he would be the perfect partner to help Maria make a strong debut. She admits it wasn't easy to convince him, but she is glad he accepted. Maria is overcome with gratitude. She grabs Bianca's hands and thanks her profusely, asking how she can ever repay such kindness. Bianca smiles gently and says it is hardly necessary. She admits that she initially thought Maria was cold, but has realized she is actually a very warm person. The carriage stops. They have arrived. Ricardo is waiting for them outside. He looks dashing in his formal attire. He asks if they are finished preparing and suggests they start heading out. The moment of truth has arrived for Maria. Bianca takes the lead. She introduces Maria to Ricardo formally. Maria, blushing and nervous, curtsies and introduces herself as Maria of House Wensbury. She stammers slightly, overwhelmed by his presence. Ricardo looks at her and asks a surprising question. "Do you remember me by any chance?" He brings up the incident at the market where he caught a thief for her. Maria is shocked. She asks, "Oh, was that you?" Realizing her savior and her escort are the same person. Maria is internally screaming. She didn't expect him to remember a random girl from the market. She wonders if this is what people call fate. It feels exactly like a scene from a fairy tale where the prince remembers Cinderella. Maria looks at Bianca and notices how stunning she looks. She compliments Bianca's dress. Bianca politely agrees. But then, Ricardo chimes in. Instead of complimenting his own partner, Maria, Ricardo turns his gaze to Bianca. He says, "You look beautiful today, my lady." The air gets awkward. Maria is standing right there, but his eyes are fixed on his fiancée. Bianca wonders what he is trying to do by ignoring the heroine to compliment her. Suddenly, a deep voice interrupts them. "I have been looking for you everywhere, Bianca." It is Crown Prince Assel. He steps forward, looking sharp and confident. He says he came to pick her up as promised. Assel notices the tension. He asks, "Aren't you happy to see me?" Bianca looks annoyed. Ricardo asks coldly, "What is that supposed to mean?" The two male leads are instantly locking horns over Bianca. Assel ignores the hostility and declares his position. He announces, "I, Assel, will be the one escorting Lady Bianca to the ball." He offers his arm to her, effectively claiming his spot beside the villainess. The crowd at the ball begins to murmur. They whisper, "Isn't that His Royal Highness with Lady Bianca?" They are confused because usually, engaged couples escort each other. Assel smirks, telling Bianca that the reaction is quite satisfying. He is enjoying the chaos he has caused. The timeline jumps back to a flashback to explain why Assel is here. Assel had visited Bianca earlier. She thought he was just there to tease her, but he revealed he felt disappointed that she only sought him out for forged documents. Assel reveals he brought a gift to cheer her up. He hands her the approval documents for the orphanage relocation. Bianca realizes he personally delivered them just to surprise her. She is grateful but wary of his intentions. Then comes the condition. Assel asks, "May I dance with you tonight?" He clarifies that he meant it when he said he wanted to be her escort. He basically cornered her, he does a huge favor, and in return, he demands her company at the most important social event of the year. Back in the present, Bianca thinks, "How could I say no to the Crown Prince?" They stand at the top of the grand staircase. The announcer presents them, Maria with Ricardo, and Bianca with Assel. It is a double date from hell. Bianca glances at Ricardo. His expression is unreadable, but he looks serious. Too serious. Bianca realizes he is still holding on to the fact that she picked him in their previous conversation, yet here she is with another man. She thinks, for someone so handsome, he sure is petty. She can feel his burning gaze on her. She wonders if the plot has truly begun to twist. The original story is breaking apart. As they descend the stairs, Bianca feels a wave of anxiety. She asks herself, will I be able to act like everything is alright? She knows that tonight is not just a ball, it is a battlefield where her survival depends on managing these two powerful, jealous men. The scene opens with Bianca and Crown Prince Assel dancing. The atmosphere is tense. Suddenly, Bianca's ankle twists. She gasps as she loses her balance, almost falling to the floor. But in a split second, Assel catches her, holding her steady. He asks with genuine concern if she is alright. Bianca recovers and thanks him. The crowd immediately starts whispering. They wonder if she fell on purpose to get closer to the prince. Someone comments that they look good together, fueling the gossip mill. Assel hears the murmurs and whispers to Bianca, asking if his comment was unnecessary. Bianca regains her composure and replies coolly that it does not bother her at all. Internally, however, she chides herself for being swayed by his words, realizing he is dangerous. The dance continues. Assel teases her, noting that she hasn't been able to focus. He leans in and says that just dancing with her has his heart pounding. Bianca sighs internally, thinking that making women swoon must be his specialty. She tries to brush it off as his usual flirtatious behavior. Assel asks if he made her swoon. Bianca flatly says no. He asks what he would gain from it, and then drops a bombshell. He says, lots of things. For example, I could appoint you as my crown princess. The playfulness vanishes from the conversation. Bianca is shocked and asks him to pardon. She tells him that is nothing to joke about. But Assel looks at her with a serious expression, indicating he is not joking. Bianca looks at him and thinks that he never seems worried about anything. Bianca's mind races. She wonders if she could live that life, constantly fearing someone might take her place or poison her. Assel stops her thoughts by holding her hand firmly. He tells her, I meant what I said. If the position of Duchess fails to satisfy you, you are always welcome by my side. I will be waiting. It is a direct and open invitation to leave Ricardo for him. Assel walks away, leaving Bianca stunned. She feels his gaze lingering on her. She thinks to herself, why is he looking at me as if I am a married woman who cheated on her husband? She feels guilty and confused by his intense declaration. Needing a break, Bianca steps out to fix her makeup. Suddenly, she runs into someone. It is Maria. The heroine has arrived at the ball, wearing the beautiful green dress Bianca helped her choose. Bianca looks at Maria's big, innocent green eyes. She is struck by how beautiful Maria looks. But then, her heart starts racing. Badum. Badum. She asks herself, am I shaken right now? She realizes she pretended not to be fazed in front of Assel, but the truth is she couldn't focus on the dance because she was watching something else. She was watching Ricardo dancing with Maria. She feels a pang of jealousy, wondering if she is reminded of her desperate past self. She tells herself to pull it together. Suddenly, the door opens. Clack. Bianca turns around and freezes. It is Ricardo. He stands there with a dark, unreadable expression. Ricardo doesn't waste time. He says, I need a word with you. He asks directly, why did you ask me to escort Lady Maria? He admits he was going to overlook it for her sake, but he has to know. Bianca gives her prepared answer. She wanted to help Maria because of her unfortunate situation, and he was the best partner. She tries to end the conversation there. But Ricardo steps closer, saying, to be honest, I am suspicious of your intentions. He asks why she did it, noting that she and Maria looked great together. He mentions that others thought they made a good match. Then, his voice drops, revealing the true source of his anger. He asks, is that why you were with Assel? He suspects she pushed him onto Maria just so she could be free to be with the crown prince. The jealousy is pouring off him. Ricardo confronts Bianca with a face full of betrayal. He asks if she was with Assel. He feels completely humiliated. He tells her that he never would have agreed to escort Maria if he had known Bianca would run off with the prince. He accuses her of ostracizing him and sending him to a random woman just so she could spend the evening with another man. Bianca tries to brush it off, saying he is making it sound like she cheated. But Ricardo snaps. He asks why she is acting this way and shouts about how much he has been holding back. Bianca plays dumb, asking what feelings he is talking about. She claims she thought she made her lack of interest clear. Ricardo refuses to back down. He tells her not to pretend. He confesses right there in the hallway. He says he likes her. He declares that she is the woman he has feelings for and that he wishes to marry her. It is the confession the readers have been waiting for, but the timing is terrible. Bianca looks him in the eye and delivers a cold rejection. She says, "Well, I don't love you back." Ricardo is stunned. Bianca challenges him. She acknowledges he might like her, but she asks if he truly loves her. She demands he get on his knees and swear on his life that he loves her. Ricardo hesitates. He stammers that he cannot just bet his life on a whim. That hesitation is all the answer Bianca needed. She says, "I see," with a look of finality. She knows that in this world, true love means being willing to die for someone, and he is not there yet. As she turns to leave, Ricardo grabs her wrist. He begs her not to do this. He squeezes her hand and tries to explain himself. He says she is the most special woman he has ever met and that he has feelings for her. He continues his desperate plea. He says he wishes to be the one by her side, closer to her than anyone else. He asks her, "Isn't this what you call love?" He is confusing possession and preference with the sacrificial love Bianca is looking for. Bianca pulls away and reflects internally. She wonders what would have happened if she truly loved him. She realizes that if she did, she would have tried to be with him regardless of the prophecy. She wouldn't have been afraid of dying. But the truth is, she chose to abandon him to spare her own life. She concludes that they don't love each other. She walks away, leaving him standing alone in the hallway, thinking, "I am afraid this is how our relationship ends." Bianca composes herself and returns to the party. She notices a commotion. She sees Kate Conwells and her clique surrounding Maria. Kate is insulting Maria, calling her an illegitimate country bumpkin who has no shame for clinging to her position. Bianca hears Kate say that Maria has zero class for batting her eyelashes at a man who is already taken. Bianca decides she has had enough. She steps in, asking if Kate has something to say to her face. Bianca confronts the bullies. She asserts her dominance, stating that if Kate had any shame, she wouldn't dare play tricks in front of the Duke's fiancée. She identifies Kate as a gossip who is usually useful, but has made a mistake today. Kate tries to wiggle out of it, claiming she was defending Bianca because it seemed like there was discord between the engaged couple. Bianca shuts her down instantly. She reveals that she was the one who asked Ricardo to escort Maria, destroying Kate's narrative. Bianca delivers the final blow. She asks Kate if she thought Ricardo Winkaser was the kind of man who would betray her trust by falling for another woman. She effectively shames Kate for doubting the Duke's honor. Kate panics and apologizes profusely. The bullies scramble away in fear. Bianca turns to Maria, who looks relieved but confused. Bianca asks calmly, "Lady Maria, can we talk for a moment?" She saved the heroine, but now she has to deal with the fallout of her own broken engagement. The scene opens with a beautiful shot of the starry night sky, contrasting sharply with Bianca's mood. She stands alone on the balcony, looking defeated. Her internal monologue reveals her despair. Another plan falls apart. Nothing ever goes as I want. She feels the weight of the plot crushing her efforts to change her fate. Suddenly, Maria approaches her. She hesitates for a moment before beaming with a bright smile. She stammers slightly, trying to pronounce a difficult word, before shouting, "Congratulations on your engagement." Bianca's eyes widen in horror. She screams internally, "What?" Maria explains she tried to say it earlier but her pronunciation was too weird, so she waited until now. Maria continues, oblivious to Bianca's panic. She says, "So you were engaged to Sir Winkaser. It is late, but I thought it would be better to congratulate you now." Bianca realizes she is in a bind. If she tries to gloss over it now, it will only make things worse. She thinks Maria wasn't supposed to know. If she knew, she shouldn't have wanted anything to do with him. Maria explains her silence. She says she didn't want to upset Bianca and ruin the debutante ball by bringing it up at the wrong time. She smiles purely and says, "I am just so happy. It was the best debutante ever." Then she asks the question that twists the knife, "Aren't you angry?" She assumes Bianca is upset about missing time with her. Maria starts gushing about Ricardo. She calls him the most ideal and wonderful man she has ever met. She describes him as a noble knight who helps others without expecting anything in return. Hearing the heroine praise the male lead so highly makes Bianca feel a mix of guilt and resignation. Maria continues, "That is why I respect you even more, Lady Bianca." She implies that being chosen by such a noble man proves Bianca's worth. Bianca listens in silence, unable to tell Maria the truth that Bianca's mind drifts back to her conversation with Ricardo. She asks herself a painful question, "I wonder what would have happened if I truly loved Ricardo." She imagines a different timeline where she wasn't governed by fear. She realizes, if I truly loved him, I probably would have tried to be with him regardless of what the book said. I wouldn't have been afraid of dying. It is a moment of clarity. She recognizes that true love requires a courage she does not possess. But reality sets in. She admits to herself, "But the fact that I can't means I am no different from him. I chose to abandon him to spare my own life." She looks at his retreating figure in her memory and concludes with finality, "We don't love each other." The moment is interrupted by Lord Raintar. He finds them and looks relieved. "Maria? And that's Lady Bianca." He explains he was looking for them. He apologizes to Bianca, admitting he was just worried about Maria and didn't mean to cause any offense earlier with the bullies. Raintar realizes it is getting late. He says, "I should go inform the guests that we are wrapping things up." He leaves the two girls alone again. Maria waves goodbye to him happily. Bianca watches the interaction, feeling like an outsider in their happy ending. Bianca looks at Maria and thinks, she is someone I can't hate. But then, the camera shifts. From a distance, someone is watching them. It is Kate Conwells. She is holding a book, her eyes sharp and calculating as she observes Bianca. We hear Kate's internal thoughts, and they are chilling. She looks at Bianca and thinks, selfish and wicked. A woman who kills without hesitation. Kate is viewing Bianca entirely through the lens of the villainous role, completely misinterpreting the moment. Bianca's internal monologue returns. She wonders why the original story suddenly came up in her mind. She decides to mentally reread the plot. She remembers that Maria was burning with vengeance in the book. Why? Because the one who killed her mother was no one else but me. Bianca finally remembers the critical death flag. The plot dictates that the villainess kills the heroine's mother, triggering the revenge arc. Bianca screams internally, "No. That doesn't make any sense. I would never kill someone." She realizes the truth. Even in the novel, she was framed. Someone else definitely killed Maria's mother and pinned it on her. And because Maria is innocent and naive about noble power struggles, she believed the lie. Even a small doubt can lead to full belief in this cutthroat world. Bianca comes up with a desperate plan. No matter who plots against me, I will just make sure there is no room for Maria to misunderstand. She vows that starting today, she won't go anywhere near the hospital where Maria's mother is staying. Complete avoidance is her strategy. But just as she resolves this, Kate Conwells walks up to them with a smirk. "Fancy seeing you here. Hello, Lady Maria." And she isn't alone. She gestures to the woman beside her. "You have company. Could that be?" Maria's face lights up. "Yes. This is my mother." Bianca freezes. Kate has brought Maria's mother, the very person Bianca needs to avoid, right to her. Kate smiles maliciously, saying, "She brought her right to me." The episode ends with Bianca realizing she has walked straight into the trap she just vowed to avoid.
Bianca stares into the void, thinking, what is meant to happen will happen in the end. Even if the book rewrites the ending, she realizes she always meets death. She understands there is no longer a path where she doesn't get involved. It is a chilling acceptance of her reality. She steels herself. If she can't escape, she must control the narrative. She resolves to act naturally, kindly, and above all, avoid any misunderstandings that could lead to her execution. She puts on her perfect lady mask, ready to face the characters. Bianca tries to introduce herself, but the woman with Maria interrupts warmly. It is Maria's mother. She smiles and says, "You must be Lady Bianca. Maria talks about you every single day." She tells Bianca that Maria praises her constantly as a truly amazing lady. Bianca is relieved, her efforts to be kind to the heroine are paying off. Maria's mother thanks Bianca sincerely. She says, "I heard it is thanks to your care that I was able to stay at this hospital." She explains she is attending the event because the Marquis and Marchioness Wensbury were summoned to the Imperial Palace, so she came in their stead. The conversation turns to the event itself. Maria's mother praises the Crowfort family for organizing such a wonderful charity event for commoners. She notes that usually, noble involvements are about territory disputes, but this is different. Bianca humbly deflects the praise, but her mind is already racing. Suddenly, Bianca's survival instincts kick in hard. She realizes the massive risk. If something happens to this woman here, or at the hospital her family sponsors, the negligence will be linked to the Crowfort family. The death flag she tried to avoid by staying away has now cornered her. She thinks, it might actually be worse if I stay away. Bianca changes her strategy immediately. Instead of fleeing, she decides to stick to them like glue. She offers to accompany them, using the excuse that as the host, she wants to hear their impressions. Her true goal is to supervise everything to ensure Maria's mother stays alive. The scene shifts to the Imperial Palace. The atmosphere is heavy. The Empress is meeting with Bianca's parents, the Marquis and Marchioness Crowfort. She drops a heavy statement, "I have decided to give you one more chance. A chance to make Lady Bianca part of the Imperial family." Bianca's parents are confused and apologetic. They remind the Empress that the marriage discussions with the Crown Prince were settled 10 years ago. They try to politely decline, sensing the danger of getting involved in royal politics again. But the Empress pushes back. She mentions an interesting rumor. She says, at the charity ball, Ricardo Winckhazer escorted another young lady, didn't he? She implies that Bianca has been humiliated and that her engagement to the Duke is on shaky ground. The Empress frames her demand as a request, but the thread is clear. She suggests that Bianca should pay the Crown Prince a visit soon. She says, if she refuses, I will give up, but the implication is that refusing the imperial family comes with consequences. Back in the garden, Bianca is in full detective mode. She asks Maria's mother about restrictions. The mother says she is treated well and has plenty of food. Bianca asks about allergies. The mother reveals she is allergic to cats and dogs, but since there are none in the hospital, she feels safe. They discuss her health. The mother admits there was a time she couldn't even move, but now she feels much better thanks to the treatment. Bianca encourages her to go out with Maria often, trying to gauge how mobile and vulnerable she is. Then comes a terrifying piece of information. The mother mentions she often walks alone to a chapel next to the hospital to pray. Bianca is alarmed. Walking alone is a perfect setup for an accident or murder. Bianca suggests it would be better to have someone accompany her, but the mother brushes it off, saying the sisters look after her. Suddenly, the hospital director rushes in, sweating profusely. He is shocked to see Lady Bianca in the commoner area. He asks if something has gone wrong. He is clearly terrified of the Marquis's daughter finding a fault. Bianca uses his fear to her advantage. She calmly questions him about the food safety for those with dietary restrictions. She points out that with the large crowd and children running around, accidents can happen. She is checking every possible angle for poison or mishaps. Bianca watches Maria and her mother leave. She feels a chill. She remembers the original book. In the story, this woman didn't even have a name. She was just an extra who died to fuel Maria's revenge against the villainess. Bianca refuses to accept this fate. She thinks, don't make me laugh. The living aren't just some extras. She instructs her guard, Fanya, to stay with them and report anything unusual. She decides to use her wealth and power to force a happy ending. Her plan is simple but expensive. She will pour tons of sponsorship money into the hospital. She will station private soldiers for protection. She reasons that if this woman lives, Maria will have no reason to kill her. It is the ultimate shield. Bianca vows, "I won't let her die." But the episode ends on an ominous note. As Maria's mother drinks tea, she starts coughing. It is a small cough, but in a world of death flags, it sounds like a countdown. Bianca's battle against the plot has officially begun.